Pakatan Harapan was propelled to power in May 2018 by advancing itself as an alternative to the race-based system which had become deeply ingrained during 6 decades of BN rule. But more than 1 year on, the coalition still finds itself reverting to the traditional political formula which has governed the country for decades. In April this year, for example, the government was forced to withdraw from the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court. The political U-turn was made after a storm of protests from UMNO, PAS and Malay NGOs which claimed that acceding to the treaty would gravely undermine the sovereignty of the Malay rulers. Last year, the government also retreated from assenting to the International Convention for the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, or ICED, after similar protests from UMNO and PAS. The massive rally was driven by fears that the treaty would strip the Malays of their special rights provided for by the Constitution.
They don't seem to have the stomach to take on the really difficult, tough decisions, and that is what is a little bit disappointing. By the very fact that they gave in on ICED and Treaty of Rome, they have not stopped giving in. That's what happens when you give in. Conservative and extremists are never satisfied with how much you do. So I don't know why we bother playing to that. So you've given in once and that's it. They know that's the Achilles heel of this government. And they keep playing it over and over and over again. And so when do they stop?
We have to remember that when they won in 2018, they won with 48%. So they didn't have a very large majority to work with. They've always had this challenge to try and push the reform agenda, but try to also not upset, a majority of the public beyond those who didn't support for them.
According to the Merdeka Center survey, only 24% of Malays, who make up 60% of the country's 32 million strong population, felt that the country was headed in the right direction. It's a strong indication Pakatan Harapan is losing its allure among the majority community in the country.
Nationally, perhaps, they only attain about a quarter of the Malay support. So which means that 75% of the Malay electorate back in 2018 voted either Barisan Nasional or PAS. And so Pakatan is really starting the game with a severe handicap in not having adequate support.
To survive politically, it feels that it has to do more to regain and address their needs or risk losing their support. For example, it did not follow up on its earlier decision to deport a controversial Islamic preacher, Zakir Naik. Wanted in India on charges of money laundering and of inciting extremism, the Indian national caused a stir in Malaysia's multi-ethnic society recently after he allegedly made racially sensitive remarks towards the minority communities in the country. The remarks have caused outrage among Malaysians who called on the government to revoke his permanent residency status and deport him, including several ministers. Youth and Sports Minister Syed Saddiq was among the first to call for the fugitive preacher's deportation, saying that an attack against our Chinese and Indian brothers and sisters is an attack against all Malaysians. But he's now asking Malaysians to forgive the man and move on.
For the past 2 weeks, people are so focused and fixated on one person which will not be able to provide jobs to Malaysia, which will not be able to change the lives of Malaysians in terms of affecting their education or their cost of living, in terms of public transportation and housing. We need to move forward to here. Allow the police to complete their investigations, allow the legal system to come in, allow for the rule of law to be championed. We have a strong democratic foundation and the institutions of democracy will be able to handle it.
I wasn't just angry, I was also hurt, to be honest, by the reaction to Zakir Naik, because it was as if the voters, the ones who put you in power, didn't matter. But this one man who comes in and is insulting, Indians and Chinese and so on, he matters more. And to me, they better get their priorities right. We're the ones that are going to vote in the next elections. And for me, it is important to remove all elements that cause division in our country. And a responsible government must do that no matter how difficult it is. But unfortunately, they are more concerned about the next elections.
If they rule against Zakir Naik, that means they place Islam second. If they vote in the way against minorities, then they're saying, well, minorities don't really matter. We're always looking for the Muslim Malay votes. They realize that they risk losing Muslim votes if they make a miscalculation about it. So they've been stepping on eggshells, avoiding them all along with this.
Most analysts, when they examining Malaysia, the current government is showing that Malaysia is moving away from racial politics or race-based politics. But I think that would be a wrong assessment to see, because Malaysia DNA is completely racial politics.
But Defence Minister Mohamad says this under-siege mentality has long been cultivated and over-politicised by the opposition parties like PAS and UMNO. As a result, any tinkering of the issue will trigger a strong reaction from the Malays.
Sebagai pembangkang, paling mudah kita tiup semangat perkauman. Jadi ini mentaliti yang bila isu perkauman ni masuk dalam pemikiran, dia tak kira kelulusan, dia lebih kepada bersifat sentimen. Jadi bila kita datang minta tunjukkan di mana hak-hak orang Islam hilang, mereka tak boleh. Mereka kata kami lihat hilang. Begitu aja. Jadi ini yang dia termasuk golongan-golongan intelektual Melayu. Bukanlah kesemua, tapi ada di kalangan mereka yang terbabit dalam hal perkauman sempit ini.
Voters, like 56-year-old Esther Chin, however, remains hopeful.
對於我嚟講咧，我覺得佢哋有做得幾好咯。最低限度佢正話1年幾，我覺得都仲會等待緊佢哋做得更好。
With respect to the non-Malay community support for Pakatan, we don't think it has significantly shifted. In part because there are no real options out there. That doesn't mean to say that they are happy or they are euphoric. I think for a lot of people, non-Malay Malaysians, I think reality has set in. People are now, trying to get used to this whole thing that they won't get everything that they wish for so fast.
But the question is, for how long? Will the Pakatan Harapan government remain true to its commitment for change, as spelt out in its vision, Malaysia Baru or the New Malaysia? Or will they continue to pander its policies to suit the interests of the Malay public while sidelining the wishes of the non-Malays?
People were hoping Malaysia Baru, or this new dawn, would allow for different kinds of politics to grow. This government wants to have that and also the old. So it's always tiptoeing around and back, and that's why it's very difficult for them to shape their own narrative.
It's same old, no? You don't really see changes. I mean, I think we were all excited. But now it's like back to square one, it's the same old thing. And it's exhausting us. Why are you doing this? Are these people able to work or not?
It's just a rhetorical, not really an aspiration, but it's just a dream. Yeah, they have to wake up from their dream and start doing the job.
We are trying to make it a fact. It's not easy. It's not easy to reset nation-building policies of which has gone wrong for 6 decades.
It's a work in progress. I think people will buy into it when they see material or tangible change, and I think in the context of ordinary humans, it's well-being.
But like any other vision, it takes time. It takes a lot of political will. But I believe as long as the heart is in the right place and we continue to work tirelessly to achieve that dream and goal, we will be able to realize it.